The following is a segment from a Mutare-sponsored webinar on the FCC's Hospital Robocall Protection Group findings, detailing the specific threats and actions needed to combat fraudulent robocall activity within healthcare organizations. Visit our YouTube channel for the full presentation.
Rebekah, why did the FCC create the Hospital Robocall Protection Group?
Chuck, that's a good place to start because, robocalls plague everyone. And we already had the FCC's robocall strike force. So we would think, why isn't that enough, right? There was a lot of activities that came out of that strike force with regards to terminating carriers, implementing analytics to monitor traffic on the network, protecting consumers, giving them, the power of choice to be able to block calls, mark them as spam and unwanted. And so the fact that this group was established really highlights the severity of the challenges that hospitals are facing, specifically to this issue with fraudulent robocalls. And it really has to do with the level of disruption and the type of attack that it can have, really related to not consumers, but we're thinking about patients and patient care and the ability of hospitals to provide that care. And there's a variety of type of attacks that are very specific to hospitals that consumers, while yes, annoying that we get these unwanted phone calls, we really aren't facing the damaging results that a hospital can go through. So it was really good to see within the TRICE Act that, this isn't just the FCC saying to do it. The FCC was told to do this. So it comes from Congress, passed through the TRICE Act, telling the FCC, hey, we need to put an advisory committee together. We need to focus on specifically assessing the problems that hospitals face, and then what can hospitals do to protect themselves. And what I really liked about this particular group is that the TRICE Act was descriptive in who participates in this working group. And so it shows the forethought of what's necessary for us to actually solve this. We could tell the hospitals, here's what you need to do, it's your problem, solve it. But that's not the case. The result of our work together that I worked with John on included the voice service providers. There were some specific activities that they need to take, and it just brings awareness to why are we all in this together. And then the hospitals, I worked with John. John was the leader of the hospital group, which we'll dive into on what can hospitals do. There is some control. There are some steps that you can take to protect yourselves. And then I loved how we rounded it out with regards to the federal government. And that's where the conversations as we were developing this report really got interesting and a lot of aha moments. And we bridged some gaps where they may have been from hospitals to the federal side. It's, the hospitals are supposed to be focusing on care, right? It shouldn't be their responsibility to have to manage working with the federal government and the FBI and, reporting. So I really respect the people that we worked with on this group and highly encourage, it's not just another report that gets piled with the federal government. This one's actually very actionable and has some great, suggestions. So John, I think you're the expert here when it comes to specifically the types of attacks. And the first step to address any challenge that we might have within our own organizations is awareness. And I know that we would like to think that everyone who's listening is aware of the types of attacks that occur. The chances are they're not.